Okay, Homestead in the truck. 16 to 1 plus 0, 57. Steering settings do not matter. They're comfort based, so go ahead, do whatever's most comfortable for you. And then brake bias 57%. You can be anywhere in that ballpark. You just don't want to be too high on the brake bias because when we're using it to drag to get rotation, especially to turn 3, you want to get some rotation there. Turn 1, it's important too. So going to be high line both ends on this hotter track. This is like a low 90s track temperature Fahrenheit. If it gets into the 70s, 3 and 4 might actually be a bottom line. That's just speculation based off of like what I do on the nighttime track, because nighttime track I run bottom 3 and 4 for hot lap, because the top of 3 and 4 is just really bad. I don't like it at all, but on these hot tracks it's the only way you have a chance of carrying your momentum, unfortunately. So we're not going to be able to really run as hard on lap 1, so I'm just going to kind of back out. Just no grip into turn 1 on the cold tires, so just make sure that you don't overdo it as you're coming up to speed. Setting up for 3 and 4, we're going to have to be really close to the wall here. We really kind of want to just ride the wall through this entire entry and then get on the throttle as early as possible. Notice how I kind of waited. Didn't really need to have any brake in it, so I was just trying to find that perfect timing on the throttle to carry max momentum without sliding up. Turn 1 here, we're going to enter a little bit lower and drag our brake and then throttle up towards the wall, then throttle the car off the wall like this. Car will then go wherever it wants to go here, and we just let it. If you have to add a little bit of wheel to keep it off the wall, you can, but it's faster not to. Then 3 and 4 are going to have to enter a lot closer to the wall here. There we go, really good. So 3 and 4 is a lot more difficult because you don't want the car to slide up at all. If you let the car slide up at all in 3 and 4, there's a little bump right in the center of the corner that will just send you. You have to work around that bump whether you want to or not. And that bump is why I don't like 3 and 4. We'll go over that bump in a little bit here. But first, let's talk about 1 and 2. So when you're running this this line here for qualifying, you can see that we let the car slide up about a lane. So I still want to get my nose pointed before the banking begins. I pointed about a quarter lane off the seam here. And then I drag my brake until the car starts sliding up a bit. And then once it starts sliding up, I add some wheel and I add a little bit of throttle and try to get the rear to rotate. Again, this isn't very good for tires, but we don't care about tires. It's hot lap. So notice how when I go to full throttle, my steering wheel is actually turning back towards the center. That's a great indication that you're getting rotation from your throttle. If you're not getting rotation from your throttle, it's probably you're getting on the throttle too early and you're not dragging your brake for long enough. Either that or you're overdriving the corner entry entirely, or you don't have a good angle. So make sure, 1, that you have your nose pointed down the track about a quarter lane off the seam before the banking begins. 2, you drag your brake until the car starts sliding up, and then a little bit after the car starts sliding up, we get on that throttle to rotate the rear. So just mess around with those inputs and just try to see what you can get to rotate the car with the throttle, because that's the key to running a really fast high line here at Homestead 1 and 2, using the throttle to rotate the car. And then once you're able to get the car to rotate under throttle, the rest of the corner is nothing. It's just trivial. If the second half of your corner is feeling difficult, that means that you are approaching the beginning of the corner incorrectly. All right, turn 3. So this is a lot more difficult in my eyes. I'm not as good at this. So instead of turning down the track, I'm actually keeping completely in line with the wall. I'm actually lifting a little early just to make sure that I'm not sliding up. And I'm just making sure that my car's nose is just ever so slightly trending down the track. Right there. Wait, sorry, where was the bump? Right there. So, right there. Right before this green stoplight right here, there is a bump, probably around this marker right here. When you drive through that bump, if you are already pointed at the wall, it'll send you straight into the wall. If you drive through it straight to the point where you're not really changing lanes at all, it's manageable. And notice how I was waiting on the throttle to hit that bump, and the moment after I hit my bump, then that's when I can get rotation from the throttle. But I don't want rotation from the throttle before that because that bump will screw everything up. So the reason that I'm not driving down and letting the car slide up is because I would have the wrong angle going through that bump, and I would have too much steering wheel going through that bump. So I have to make some concessions here. So I just stay up by the wall, really relatively conservative entry, and then we just get back on that 60% throttle, 70% throttle as early as possible. Wait for the bump, and then we can throttle under the rotate under the throttle. Sorry. So just patient by the wall, get through the bump, and then throttle under rotation, or rotation under throttle. Cool. So let's take that idea and throw it out the window for long run. It's a good idea to run the top right off a restart for maybe a few laps. It might wear a little bit of tire in the moment, but I think the track position is worth it, especially in these C-fixed races where you're going to count on a lot of restarts most likely. But if you get a race that strings out, there's a really interesting line here. So we're just going to run the bottom. I'm just on cold tires still. But we're just going to hold the bottom as long as we can and just not even let the car slide up to the top. So I'm not even really setting up by the wall, just driving straight to the white line, using the brake to kind of settle myself on the white line, and just picking up that throttle to where I don't slide up, and then only letting the car come up late. Don't even really have to come up to the wall. You can see there, 2.5 tenths slow. So on cold tires, on the early run, it's not going to be worth it. But the top falls off fast. So this line does not have nearly the fall off that the top does. And in fact, this is a little bit better. So half a second from our session best. Well, in the race scenario, people are going to probably be running about 2 tenths slower than qual on the first lap like that, maybe 3 tenths. So it's still not a great idea to be doing this tire saving line at the beginning. But you can see that I'm not going to be falling off on this line. So this line is going to become very good, maybe 4 or 5 laps into the run. That was actually a little sliding up a little bit too early there. I really want to maximize my time that I'm staying on the white line. There we go. And then get the car to rotate and throttle just a little bit, and then we're just patient on it. Don't go full throttle if it's going to cause you to slide up early. So this is a very unintuitive line, but it's very good. Very, very good on tires. A little loose there, not amazing. But you can see that, like, if I'm driving consistently, I'm not going to have fall off here. Or at least not nearly to the degree that running the top would have. There we go. That's a lot better of a corner. Notice how my car, like, doesn't even want to come up to the wall. It's not that I'm forcing it to stay off the wall, that's just where the car exists. And again, it's early enough brake, making sure that the car's settled on the bottom, and then only throttling if it's not going to slide your car way up the track. Let's compare that. Let's try to run a top lap now and see how that compares. I'm going to try to push fairly hard, but not too hard. Oh no, don't mess it up. I scraped the wall there. That didn't count. You might not have saw that. I was so close to not hitting the wall. But yeah, that doesn't count. I messed up there. I'm going to end up being probably a 10th quicker per end by running the top here. Okay. So this was compared to our last top lap where I messed up. I mean, it's actually only about a 10th better. And then after this, I'm going to go back to the bottom, and you'll see that the times have essentially already equalized. I'm not really pushing too hard, but you don't want to be pushing any harder anyways, really. I hate top 3 and 4 on long run. It just feels so bad. Okay, now let's go back to our tire saving bottom line, where we're just not even pushing, and see what our times are. a 10th and a half there. Maybe 2 tenths. This one is where we make up more of the time. If you're going to choose to run top and part of the track, it's going to be in 1 and 2. Oh, man. But yeah, like that, like 3 and 4 top already is barely faster than 1 and 2 top, or sorry, 3 and 4 bottom. But okay. So you can see how that's going to really go play to your favor 10, 20 laps into the run, assuming you ever get there. But if you're in a cycle of cautions and restarts, top 1 and 2 is the king for short runs, and then consider still doing bottom 3 and 4 after a few laps. 96, 96, you see how running the bottom, we can just even out the tire wear really nice. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.